So
There's
I
no
don't even know if
strippers
I
or
would consider
whatever.
it bottom of the barrel.
Do you think that it would go up in your estimation if Emmett was cheating on Reese with his unbiological daughter?
Yes. Oh my god. No. I didn't know he was going to say that. I did not know he was going to say that. If you cut this out, I'm actually going to kill you as well. I did not know he was going to say that.
Wrong. That's
I
crazy.
did not know he was going to say that.
Yes.
Yes. So, yes.
But there would be nothing wrong with that, though. Right?
What I think. How is a woman to survive in a man's world? By rolling up her sleeves and showing the boys she can do anything they can, and in high heels. Reese Remington is the first female team owner in Major League Baseball, and people aren't about to let her forget it. From invasive press conferences to misogynistic executives, Reese has got her work cut out for her. But she knows how to handle the press. She knows how to work the boardroom. The one thing she didn't expect, falling in love.
Yeah, I know, right? As soon as you said that,
it cost a piece of my soul to do that intro, but I said I'm doing it anyway.
Pause this video right now. Go and read In Her Own League by
Liz Tomforde. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
It is definitely, most definitely a made-up name, isn't
It's
it?
got to
Tom
be.
Ford.
It's got to be.
Unless, of course, she's like,
good.
oh, Daddy owns Tom Ford. You're like,
100%.
You're like, oh.
And her brother's name is Gucci Fendi. I just thought it was lazy, to be honest. So at least make it sound like it could be a real name.
So what did you think of the book? Wait, how many do you have, by the way? Because I only got
3. I have 5.
Okay, cool. That's fine. And you got shorter ones. You got a smaller one.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there again. So what did you think of the book? Exactly, I agree.
I don't really have much good to say about the book, to be honest. It was just like, generic romance slop, to be honest. Like, it was, read it 1,000 times before, probably read it 1,000 times again, knowing you.
And enjoy it. Yes, yes, I agree.
I like to think it could have been something. I like to say it could have been something. I like to try and see the potential good it could have been.
Wait, but I'm confused. It was something. And it was something special. You know what? I don't think we need to hear what you have to say. It's just going to be negative. Let's go on.
All right, I'm going to go first since I have more. I don't have a blasted clue how to play baseball. I don't know how many players there are. I don't know how long a game takes, how the season works, or how players train. One of my hopes for this book is to answer all those questions, because otherwise, what is the blasted point of it being about baseball? Oh, I get it. This is going to be one of those stories where the female main character beats all the men at their own game, but we never get to see or experience any of it. So I saw this baseball MacGuffin for what it was instantly.
You even used the M word.
There you go. Instantly, I saw it for what it was.
So that's what I thought initially. And later on down in my notes, I actually posed the question to you that if was it Liz Tomforde has done a good job to make sure that the baseball aspect is not a MacGuffin, and it seems like I've got the answer to that question already. But I think, given the circumstances compared to what we see in this type of genre, I think she did more than most.
That's fair. That's fair to say. It's fair to argue.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not a MacGuffin, though, by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, fair enough. Okay, so by actual fact, it's a MacGuffin. It was completely pointless to the story. But
if MacGuffin's a spectrum, it's probably on the decent end of the spectrum.
I mean, but I don't know if we can use that S word. Trying to cancel us.
Now it's about fighting over who failed worse. So it's just like, it's not an area you want to be in.
All right, I'll go then. It's my turn, should I say? So, the book starts as it means to go on, with a heavy sprinkle of misogyny, then immediately providing the antidote: feminism. We meet Reese, who's the new owner of the Chicago Red Bulls, which is a baseball team. She's the first woman to ever own a baseball team. The first woman in history to be the owner of the baseball team. A fact that the author felt the need to remind us every chapter. I will say that I would have thought that the whole purpose of flagshipping a woman being the first female ever to own a baseball team would be the one that, I don't know, worked hard enough to be able to buy one, not just given one by a man. Mm-hmm. I thought that almost defeated the whole purpose of the badass feminist. Anyway, in the first press conference, the one where she's announcing her takeover, the press are firing very predictable questions at her, and she needlessly is being passive-aggressive. They ask her if she is the right man for a job. They ask her if there's ever been a woman. She said they ask, there's never been a woman boss in this sport. Are you in over your head? Or if you decide to start a family, how are you going to have a work-life balance? Would you ask a man these questions? She snapped. Again, this did a disservice to women, painting them out to be these uncontrollable, power-hungry people who are incapable of controlling their emotions and acting professionally, which is a theme of the book. Furthermore, those were all legitimate questions.
Especially the one about work-life balance.
Yeah.
Especially that one. It's incredibly important.
And in fact, that term is probably being invented for men, because men are the ones that do work. Typically, the CEOs work, 24 hours a day, never get a chance to be at home. So that term has been invented for men.
But even if it wasn't, like, women still need a work-life balance. Like, it's still pertinent to them.
Exactly. I don't think the aim is to pretend that Reese is a man. We know she's not one of the boys. She doesn't have to be this tough cookie or badass. All she needs to do is make good decisions and bring the results. Pulling up to the headquarters and making a whole bunch of changes is bound to get people to dislike you. What would have made more sense realistically, and for the plot too, is if she immediately came in, promoted Emmett, who is a loved and respected employee, to be her right-hand man. That way she would still be seen as the boss because she will call all the shots. Instead, we had a hostile, immature, power-hungry woman who then was told, have a good night, and she replied with, don't tell me what to do. And it's like, and she wasn't joking.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even, nowadays.
So my question is it necessary for the feminist literature books to feature a woman who tries to be one of the bros? Is it possible to be one of the bros when you're smoking hot?
I don't think it's necessarily a problem when they try and make a woman one of the bros. I don't think it's necessarily a problem, but what I do think is that in a lot of these feminist literatures, or so-called feminist literatures, the perception of feminists that you might get from YouTube is often what they try and use, which is not real. It's a caricature. It's the perfect word. So it's not like there's, for example, I was having a debate with somebody at work. I think it was about Zendaya, if I remember correctly. And there was like Zendaya, the most overrated actress ever.
Yeah.
There was like Zendaya uses her,
actress. How
there was
dare
like, oh, do you know what I mean? Caught you. There was like straight.
Cancel him, guys. Dead to
Right,
rights,
to the end of my sentence.
yeah,
It's done. But it was like she uses her mum's maiden name because she's a feminist, and I was like, you mean her grandfather's name? So I was like, it's not. They use all these fake.
That's crazy.
This fake feminism stuff.
You
where
got
it's like,
them. No, you
like
got
straight
them.
away,
Done.
and it's just like no matter how far back you go, like it's just gonna get worse, really. But no, I
owner's
don't.
name.
Yeah.
Slave master.
You took it too
no,
far.
I meant slave master.
Black.
No, that means you're the.
You was talking about slavery. Thank God. Do you know what I mean?
No, but what you did is worse. You were talking about women, specifically women being owned. I was talking about black people in general.
Is that worse? Is that women being owned worse than black people being owned? Because
there
was no chattel slavery
you're
over women.
Sexist. Slavery is just the way of the world. But you are just sexist. It's the worst.
We need to have a discrimination Olympics. See who's the worst. See who comes out on top. Surely racism's got to come out on top. It's like, surely.
No, but that's logical.
Okay. Ever since you, Elijah, mentioned this, I cannot stop seeing it. Reese and Emmett, our two lead characters, bump into each other for their first physical encounter totally by chance. Assuming these two are the two halves of today's romance slop coin, why do fated lovers always have to meet by chance? They literally work together. In fact, office romances often start literally because people work in close proximity to one another. I heard a great quote once. It said, she's not hot, you just work with her like 10 hours a day or whatever.
Good enough.
I said that is the truth nuke.
So wait, I must have missed this. I thought they just met, in the line of work.
No, they did. They met in the line of work, but it's like
meeting.
it was a chance meeting in the context of how they bumped into each other. But it wasn't a chance meeting because they already worked together. But it's like their first physical interaction was them just bump. Like it's they've already met as well. They've already met, but it's like they also still felt the need to have that manufactured moment where they fate brings them together, and they've already met. Like normally it's their meeting that we see.
Double fated.
It's double fated.
That's got a nice little ring to it.
It's ridiculous.
Double fated.
Perhaps this is because people like to conceptualize love as Cupid's arrow, something that happens to you rather than a choice that you make. It would be much more authentic and refreshing just once to see characters exchange phone numbers and schedule meetings like normal human beings.
What do you think of the enemies to lovers because that's what this was, enemies
Yeah.
to lovers. What do you think that fulfilled the brief? Because I don't think
Definitely
they
not.
were actually enemies.
They weren't enemies. They weren't enemies. They had some tension. They had
and it wasn't the stereotypical banter,
Yeah.
sort of quips and shots. It wasn't that. It was just
There was
like
a bit of that. There was a bit of that.
I wouldn't
but
only
not,
say a little bit, not like
not like to the level that we're.
how my neighbors sell Christmas sort of thing.
Oh, nothing's on that level. To be fair. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think the enemies to lovers thing. And I saw somebody post about this. Somebody on Twitter posted about this. One of those bibliophiles, as they're called, book lovers.
Oh, okay.
But they said, people don't really do enemies to lovers. They do, a couple of tension-filled scenes. They, one person says something
But I
rude, one person says
suppose-
something rude, and then they just shag for the rest of the book.
I want to say that I'm glad because
It's tired.
I mean, if you can do the enemies to lovers good, like the book we mentioned, and actually have them sending shots and it's actually funny or whatever, cool. But most times they don't, and it's just not. It's just weak banter.
it is weak, man.
But
and we're fed up with it. We're bored.
let me go. I will say this, the author does a really good job of keeping me entertained. I have to admit, I'm not bored, which is saying a lot considering that there's no cocaine, fast cars, or strip clubs in this book, unfortunately. Now,
alright.
there isn't insta love, but there's definitely insta flirting. And that feels questionable considering it's between an employee and her boss. 100%. Well, his boss. It all starts with what should be an innocent phone call. Reese just happens to be in the bath, naked. Now, answering the phone in the bath isn't automatically flirting, but it becomes that the moment she says, "Don't picture me naked." From there, it builds pretty naturally. A few chapters of light flirting, some tension, and then somehow they end up sharing a bed. That was, when they first, it was...
Yeah.
It was,
Oh, it's cold.
yeah.
It's cold. Like,
And there's
really?
no hotels.
Really?
There's no other rooms
I
anywhere.
don't need to be in your bed. Nah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought that,
I would have let her do it. I'd be like, I know what you're doing, and I'm going to let you do it.
I'd be like, you know what? My room is a bit hot. I'd crank the temperature. You need to take your clothes off. We're going to sweat.
You don't have a choice. Now.
The problem is, the book is so repetitive. Every chapter, and honestly, it felt like every page, it's, we can't do this. We shouldn't do this. And that's not all. We're constantly being reminded that Reese is the first female club owner. Reese is a badass. Kai is the almost son-in-law. Miller's the daughter, but not biologically.
No, not bad. They just slipped that in.
Yeah. And he was a young man trying to figure out how to be a dad. And just in case you forgot, Reese is the first female club owner. It gets to a point... it gets to a point where it's not reinforcing ideas, it's just annoying. And annoying is not a word you want anywhere near your book.
Exactly.
So, that aside, let me ask you this, Joseph. Do you think the author actually did enough with the baseball side of the story? Or did it end up feeling a bit like a MacGuffin? Something that sounds important but doesn't really add much to the plot. So we've already discussed that you think by actual fact it's a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
But do you think that the author did enough to actually bake it into the story?
I think there was a definite clear attempt to actually put some aspects of baseball, not necessarily the gameplay, but
Yeah, definitely not the gameplay.
the world of
She
baseball.
probably doesn't understand it.
And all the work this book did, we went back to square one.
Because we read another book, same sort of thing, with a zoo, and they hadn't.
Yeah.
That was not baked into the story. at all
Normally
whatsoever.
it's literally a nothing, but
Yeah.
a total nothing burger.
Completely waste of
Normally,
time.
so that's why I'm like,
And
by
this
the
was
standards
like,
I'm used
this
to,
was nearly a waste of time. But there was, I think
I still would consider it a waste of time. In my opinion. I would still consider it a waste of time. But again, if I'm ranking them, this is not the worst one that I've ever seen.
not
in
the
terms
worst
of-
offender. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely not the worst offender. Is pacing just not a thing anymore? Whatever happened to the slow burn? Like, where you wonder if there's chemistry for a bit, you wonder if the characters will succumb, then it's like a tennis match, back and forth and back and forth. I'm not even the biggest fan of the slow burn, but I know people in the genre of romance say they like it at least.
Yeah.
These days, it's all wrapped up instantly, and then they spend 40 chapters aggressively flirting.
Aggressively fucking. More,
100%. By, I believe, chapter 4, Reese and Emmett are on the phone while Reese is in the bath, which is actually addressed in their conversation. By chapter 10, Emmett is defending her from her toxic incel ex-husband.
So,
A few chapters later, we're subjected to a very forced scene where Reese happens upon Emmett shirtless. Let's keep in mind that this is meant to be a story about baseball. So far as I see it, it could literally be about any sport or any industry in corporate America, actually. The baseball part so far is a total nothing burger. So
I think he's trying to get to third base.
that's exactly what he's trying to get to. I wish I knew what that meant.
Yeah, I
wish
know.
there was a baseball book that could teach me about what the bases mean.
Yeah. So just to be clear, if you found out that your girlfriend had a phone call with an employee and she was in the bath,
I'd drown her. I'd drown her in the bath.
So, okay, let's change the question then.
Yeah.
Is that definitely 100% always inappropriate?
Of course.
Why? If they're talking about work, so what? He's answering the phone on the toilet inappropriately?
Yes.
Okay, so what about answering the phone in the hairdressers?
In the hairdressers? Maybe not. Maybe not. It's like a public moment.
Okay,
It's not really a private
what about
moment.
in a tanning bed?
I've never even thought about that. That's a good question.
What about in a swimming pool? So like what I'm really asking you is, where do we draw the line?
Well, you're trying to
Because
say where do we draw the line physically with what you're physically doing, but there's societal implications.
No, not physically.
Yeah.
In the swimming pool, she's pretty much naked.
But that's why I said physically.
Yeah.
You're talking about physical form
okay.
now. But whereas
Exactly.
there's societal implications when you're in the bath, etc., or when you're in a private moment, or when you're in the toilet, like when you're by yourself, there's like all kinds of social implications.
So
about
by
moments
yourself
you
in a
share with
swimming
somebody.
pool is now we're moving to being inappropriate.
Well, you wear the same stuff in the swimming pool. Well, women do anyway. Same stuff in the swimming pool. That's considered underwear. You know, someone sees her in the underwear.
But that's not her fault.
It's not her fault. But what I'm saying is, underwear. There's like all kinds of social implications. Oh,
Yeah.
you're seeing my underwear, but in the swimming pool, like everyone's here, you don't care. Or at the beach, you're wearing a bikini. It's the same garments. The same shape,
Yeah, no, I hear
but
you.
like no one cares. So there's all kinds of social implications. I don't really think it's about necessarily what they're doing physically. That does come into it.
So being
but
naked is not the issue. It's being.
it's not the whole issue. Definitely not the whole issue. But the way I normally do these things is I just think about my girlfriend. How would she like this if the roles were reversed? That's mainly what I do. And I know that's an old and tired way to look at things, but I think it's good. For me, it's good anyways. Because I'm just thinking, if I was on the phone with a girl in the shower, would that be cool or not? And I know it would not be cool.
My first question would be, is it a video call?
If it's me, it's a video call.
Oh, gosh. Well, I've never done one of those. I can't get it in the frame. But yeah, let me...
I was going to say you can't get it up.
Although there's nothing original about this book, it does have all the components of an entertaining read. You've got the secret relationship, and let's be honest, does it get more spicy than that? Sneaking around.
It does get more spicy, and they touched on it and then threw it away. But I'm going to talk about that later.
Sneaking around, acting like nothing's going on in public, hooking up in the office. I mean, that's on everybody's bucket list, surely. And then you get lines like, you know I respect you, right? Because it's about to look like I don't. I genuinely don't know whether to cringe or fan myself. But it also almost feels like the author is doing everything she can to distract us from one major issue. There's no real plot. The entire story boils down to Reese being the first female club owner and dealing with misogyny. That's it. There's no clear goals, no progression, just day in, day out, Reese being brave, smart, and of course, a badass. And the frustrating part is, there were interesting storylines right there. The rookie replacing an expensive superstar, that had real tension. Reese staking her reputation on this unknown player. His first game being make or break. That's something you can build a story around. Even the emotional groundwork with Emmett trying to build the kid's confidence. That had depth, something we could actually invest in. You could have taken it further. Maybe the rookie starts leaking insider information and the plot becomes about Reese and Emmett uncovering the betrayal. That's a story. Instead, we get a half-baked blackmail plot. And I say half-baked because if somebody tried to blackmail me with, we know you're sleeping with your employee, I'd be like, that's it. That's all you got. I'd be like, so wait, you only know about the one I'm sleeping with.
Yeah, 100%. I'll be like, at least now that I can prove it. Be worried about how I was going to prove it.
So there's no real excuse for the lack of plot. Although the book was a little repetitive, I honestly didn't find any of it boring. I think I did most of it in one sitting. So I'm probably going to have to just bite the bullet and admit that I enjoyed it overall. Does that surprise you?
I think it's probably fair to say it wasn't boring. That's probably a good observation.
But obviously that's a bottom of a barrel compliment.
Yeah, sort of thing. But again, it's like, it counts for a lot though. Not being boring counts for so much.
Because there was no
I
strippers
don't even know if I
or
would consider
whatever.
it bottom of the barrel.
Do you think that it would go up in your estimation if Emmett, was cheating on Reese with his unbiological daughter.
Yes. Oh my god. No. I didn't know he was going to say that. I did not know he was going to say that. If you cut this out, I'm actually going to kill you as well. I did not know he was going to say that.
Wrong. That's
I
crazy.
did not know he was going to say that.
Yes.
Yes. So, yes.
But there would be nothing wrong with that, though, right?
What I think is that he should have been married already.
It.
I think he should have been married. Yeah, he should have been married already. He should have been married already, and then she should have found out, and that's where the whole blackmail element should have come from. Because I don't know if you remember, they briefly touched on blackmail. One of the executives were like, "Oh, I've got pictures of you leaving Emmett's hotel room."
And then blackmail him because he's got a wife.
Yeah, exactly. If he's got a wife, now there's real stakes here now. Like, me personally, I'm like, you've been sneaking around shagging this whole time. I don't care.
Exactly.
Like, let him do it. Let him expose you. Like, well, who's
it's not even like
anything?
it's not even like she can be fired. You know what I mean? Like, she is the owner.
Like, long story short,
there was no stakes.
Worst comes to worst, he's gonna get fired. Who cares? Like, there she could see him for real. Like, who cares? Like, it's win-win.
There was no real stakes.
There was no real stakes. It's like, I don't really care about blackmail.
I'm never getting over that. I'm never gonna get over that one. That's crazy.
I feel the urge to vomit. The romance in this story is so forced, it's actually laughable. You seriously are telling me that before a third of the book is even done, Emmett has already professed his feelings for Reese. And only a few chapters later, Reese needs to share his room and his bed because hers is cold. This is like the intro to a low-budget porno.
So you don't watch them? Somebody doesn't.
There's only one reason I know. I almost want to DNF this, but I'm curious just how much cheesier it can get. One line of dialogue that did make me laugh, however, was when Reese says, "Don't fall in love with me," and Emmett replies, "Don't tell me what to do." Every so often when I read a romance book, I'll come across a somewhat cheesy but effective flirtatious tidbit and make a mental note to try that on my girlfriend. And if it works, then I'll use it on my wife.
Love that. That was genius. Funny you say that. Because I tried the line on my wife after trying it on my girlfriend. So I actually tried it, and she will corroborate the story. But I got a laugh. I could probably show you in the chat. So do that. Don't tell me what to do. It works. So yes, that is very, very good. Is that you done?
No, I've got one more.
All right. Well, I haven't got any more, so you might as well go again.
What the bloody hell is this book? Who wrote this? First of all, it is not about baseball. I'll tell you that. You read this book for baseball as much as you eat food to taste your fork. The baseball is merely the vehicle for spoon-feeding us this absolute hash of a love story. On the surface, the love story isn't actually too bad. If this was a friend or co-worker detailing how he met his wife, it might even be heartwarming. However, the lack of pacing just makes it uncompelling. There's never really a point where it feels like our characters actually have to fight for their relationship. Sure, there's all the conflict of interest stuff, which honestly bored the pants off me, but mainly it's Reese sneaking in and out of Emmett's bed periodically. From when the characters were introduced until the end, their love story only got more and more positive, culminating in Reese's team winning in the final moment of a game, upon which he decides to get down on one knee and propose to Emmett. It's like they wanted to ram home that anything a man can do, Reese could do too thing, as if that wasn't clear from all the meetings and press conferences where Reese is bombarded endlessly with sexist questions and implications. Ladies, take my advice, do not do this. And definitely don't do it in public. Yeah. If that was me, she would never see me again. And yes, I feel honor bound to remove points for that absolutely sickening, happiest of happy endings.
The epilogues.
Oh my God.
Those were disgraceful.
Disgusting.
And it's almost like she felt like she was gracing us by giving us one from each side. It was like, you're welcome.
That's what it was. Wanting more.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know you want this, so I'm going to give it to you.
It's disgraceful, yeah.
That's my philosophy as well, actually. Doesn't matter if you do.
Across all areas. But yeah, no, I just thought it was shocking. Like, honestly, the love story really isn't that bad. It's bad as a romance story. If I heard it from a friend or whatever, I'd probably be like, oh, how nice. But it's not terrible. It's not the worst I've ever seen. But it was just
it's better than the story that I've got with my missus.
Hinge.
Not even toilets or the club. But yeah. How about we give the people what they actually came for? They didn't come for all our jokes or our la-di-da explanation. They want to know, all they want to know is this. Well, two things.
Would you recommend it?
Would you recommend it?
At two?
Two
Out of 5.
out of 5. What do you rate it?
Would I recommend it? I would probably.
Let me go first.
All right, go for it.
You had it on the tip of your tongue. And you was going,
To be fair, I was waffling. Anyways.
so I'm gonna do it nice and simple. Would I recommend it? No. What would I rate it out of 5? 5 stars.
So one of those is a lie, and they have to work out which one. And there's only one way. Got to read the book.
Exactly. No. So would I recommend it? I wouldn't. If you, I think the cheap shot of answering that question is if you like those sort of books, then I'd recommend it.
Exactly what I was thinking.
But in terms of actual
Would
good book,
I recommend
no,
it?
no, definitely not.
I wouldn't.
I'll give it a 3 stars, and I think that's
3
generous.
Incredibly generous.
No.
I'll say 2.
I would.
There's a big difference between 2 and 3. There's
2.5. That's incredibly generous.
Incredibly generous.
No,
Don't let me go down to 1. You know?
I think it was generous, but I like to add. I like to incentivize authors writing a book that's not boring. I'm not hard to please. Don't bore me, and a little bit of spice, a little bit of jokes,
It's not a lot to ask.
It's not a lot to ask for.
It's not a lot to ask. But I also like to incentivize authors to come up with their own bloody, their own bloody like
You're
ideas.
not gonna like the Astral Library then.
Yeah, this is. I almost thought I was talking about the Astral Library for a second. I got passionate about that, but yeah. Come up with your own bloody. If it's gonna be a bad idea, at least let it be an original bad idea. Don't reuse somebody else's bad. Somebody else's knew it was a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly.
You had the benefit of hindsight.
But yes,
I'm gonna
suppose
say 2, and no, I wouldn't recommend it.
Good. So
Liz
I
Tomforde,
suppose don't do it again.
back to the drawing board.
To the drawing board. I suppose I guess we better end with the quote of the day.
I knew he was gonna say that. Oh, do you know what?
Disgraceful.
Don't tell me what to do.
Well done. Till next time.
Till next time.